My name is Alex. On this channel, we talk about product management, startups, finances, everything in between. Today, I'm going to tell you the framework that I like to use to deal with any kind of strategy or business questions during a product management interview. Strategy questions are any question that deals with whether and why and how a company should do something with a particular product with respect to a particular audience or customer segment or business use or what have you. The first thing you got to understand is there really is no necessarily right answer for most of this stuff. The most important thing that the interviewers are looking for at that point is that you follow a logical structure. You follow a logical path to arrive at whatever conclusion you make. And it's that path that's the most important thing to follow along. It's how you think. Good idea to know the basics, but really, if you're working in tech and product management, you should be excited about technology, excited about the business of it, the customer journeys and everything in between. So you should still, just as a general rule, be reading the news and finding out more about the business going on. That should come naturally. You should not try to force it by memorizing a whole bunch of numbers. So when you're asked a strategic question, my first thing to do is always understand what the signal is that the interviewer is looking for. Next step is always make sure you understand the question, make sure you clarify any ambiguities. Here's how I recommend you break down the strategic question. Always think from 2 points of view. First of all, what is the business? And second of all, who is the customer? And the company is meant to serve the needs of the user, but both have unique identities. And with strategic questions, you want to, first things first, understand all of the pieces involved, and then ask yourself, how can the company stick to its overall mission while solving the user's problem? And then you ask yourself the following questions. What is company A? What is company B? What do they do? Why do they do it? Who are their users? What do the users want? What problems do their users have? We then look for areas of overlap, or we look for potential synergies between the companies and what the user wants. And you really only are asking yourself, what is this? Why do they do it? What do they do? And then you combine them together to see what insights would form. Because you're answering this in the span of 5-7 minutes, you're not expected to arrive at some sort of deep level of insights, but try not to stop at the very first level of insight, so the very first thing. For strategy questions, I use the 5C framework, which is very straightforward. The first C is company. That is you, your organization. The next C is the customer or the client. This is who your company serves or your product serves. To the left and right of you are competitors. That's the third C. Competitors act to try to take away your customers. Behind you are your collaborators. These are all the folks that you're partnering with. These maybe are your suppliers, your distributors. Finally, you are all together in the climate, the fifth C. And the climate is the environment that we're in. It could be literally the environment, and also it could be the regulatory environment, or it can be the current public perception. So it's everything that all of these entities are in. So first thing, you think about, what am I being asked, if I understand it, if I'm on the same page with the interviewer, with the questions being asked. The next thing is you identify the entities involved, and then you ask yourself the question is, what are all these? What is this product? What is this company? What's the vision? Then when you've got all the cast of characters, you start think of it in terms of this 5C model. When you start to think about it like that, you can start to formulate connections between all of these entities, and you're starting to notice synergies and notice potential paths that you could go. And as you work down each element, you're able to meaningfully progress along the structure to produce some satisfying answers. And again, keep in mind, there's no right answer, but it's your thinking process. And this thinking process is as clear as possible to allow you to make progress on the answer. So if you like this video, please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and also subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.